Hi, my name is Albor Zhang, and I'm CEO and founder of the Liberty of the Kids Foundation. We, the Liberty of the Kids Foundation, seek to help underprivileged children who are forced into labor. Around the world, there are millions of child laborers working on farms, construction sites, factories, and many more hazardous environments. These children are not receiving fair wages and are being exploited by their employers. Through publicity, we, the Liberty of the Kids Foundation, seek to bring shame on those who use child laborers so they will do it no more. We promote children playing freely in healthy and happy environments. If children are constantly forced to do repetitive tasks, they will be limited in their abilities and knowledge when they grow up. Children need to play freely so they can explore their surroundings, learn hands-on, and socialize by themselves. This way they can grow up to be healthy adults. Our purpose is to reduce and to eliminate child laborers. We are advocating that using child laborers is morally wrong and should be frowned upon internationally. We are also advocating that children should be playing instead of working because they're children. We, the Liberty of the Kids Foundation, work with UNICEF to support Article 32 of their Convention on the Rights of Children, which states that the government should protect children from work that is dangerous, harmful to their health, hinders education, or is exploitative to children. As opposed to children working, we support and promote Article 31, which states that children have the right to play and relax and to join in a wild range of cultural, artistic, and other recreational activities. Our ultimate goal is to eliminate child laborers and to promote children playing by supporting UNICEF's child's rights. The areas of growth and development we are supporting, one of which are social. If children are constantly forced to work all day, they will never be able to interact properly with their peers. The only form of interaction these kids will know is with the person that is giving them orders, otherwise their boss. Children need time to play with each other so they can learn what behavior is and is not socially acceptable. If child laborers never receive time to play with their peers, they will only know how to follow orders for the rest of their lives. The second area of growth and development that we are supporting is the intellectual part. Children need to experience many things hands-on so they can acquire knowledge. Children will not have the opportunities to experience all they need to when they are working from morning till night. Child laborers become intellectually limited when they grow up because of a lack of life experiences that they can learn from, that they really miss out from when they're working all day and night. When children experience more things, it opens up their options to new worlds they might have never known existed, thus enabling them to become more successful in their life. Our slogan here at Liberty of the Kids is that children play with toys and not with tools. I'm going to show you a video about the day in the life of a child laborer so that you guys can see what it's like and feel some empathy for them and get a whole feeling of what it's really all about to be a child laborer. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Eastern Europe has the highest incidence of child labor in Europe. The breakup of the Soviet Union and the collapse of communism have had a profound impact on unemployment and poverty. Fewer jobs are available, and at the same time, the safety net of social security is no longer there. Child labor has emerged as a socially acceptable coping mechanism. These tobacco workers get $2.50 for preparing 100 kilos of dried leaves. The process of stringing out the leaves is carried out under the baking hot sun, and workers have no protective equipment. Their growth is stunted, nutrition is poor.
Children working in the tobacco fields suffer from health problems such as atypical dermatitis, allergenic dermatitis, and other skin diseases.
Children from rural areas are the most miserable. I tell you this from the bottom of my heart. They are the most miserable. Children from the cities go to the mountains, to the seaside, and to the lake, while our children go only to the tobacco fields.
Maybe we as parents are guilty, but what could we do? It's hard for us as well.
Child labor affects not just youngsters' health, but their education too. Many parents cannot afford to buy books and clothes and need the money the children earn as part of the family income. At harvest time especially, there are empty seats in the classroom. But it's not just in agriculture that children work. In neighboring Ukraine, the mining industry was devastated after the breakup of the Soviet Union. Around Donetsk, many pits closed, but illegal open-cast mines sprang up in their place. Whole families began to work them to eke out a living.
Там чи прибили їх, чи що? Вот, прибили. Пальці зажало. О, пошла вроде. Пошла. А ну пошли.
Людям по нещастю, дітям по нещастю приходиться лізти в ці дирки.
Тут половина города, подростки, которые, они все работают вот так, как и мы работаем.
Кто деньги зарабатывать, матери помогать.
Хто в їх начальник і що в їх начальник, ми не знаємо.
Дети, даже некоторые дети в школу не ходят. Почему? Потому что должны там маме хоть копеечку принести в семью.
Мне не страшно, не знаю, как может там другим страшно, мне не страшно.
Unscrupulous owners of illegal mines use child labor because it's cheap. There are also so-called family mines in the region, dug out in backyards. In Ukraine, the International Labour Organization estimates that 350,000 children are involved in child labor. It's concentrated in poorly paid sectors such as construction work, or here, in Romania, in brickmaking. It's hazardous, heavy work, and it's sometimes done by members of the Roma minority. The Roma suffer from discrimination, meaning it's particularly hard for them to find decent work. At the same time, there's a tradition of encouraging children to earn a living rather than go to school. Nelu is 13.
I rarely go to school. I stay here with my mother to help her with the bricks.
There is a connection between poverty and the lack of capacity to plan ahead. Every poor person thinks about how to survive the next day. The National Agency for the Roma is focused on family, and the results of our work influences also the children.
What do I want to become? A driver. It will be tough. I work every day and I may not go to school because I work here, carrying bricks.
The consequences of child labor influence also the family. It perpetuates poverty. If the child is not allowed to go to school, the family will not get higher incomes and will not be able to get out of poverty.
In many countries of Eastern Europe, poor families have left the countryside for the cities. They may end up destitute, on the streets. When Mihai was a baby, his father used to beg on the streets of Bucharest, holding the child in his arms.
I've been begging since I was 5. By the traffic lights, at the crossroads. At 10, I learned how to wash windshields. Begging doesn't pay very well. You can stay by the car for ages and no one will give you anything.
Mihai now lives with an adoptive mother. He gives her the money he earns on the streets.
I give her around $7 every day. And if I make this money sooner, let's say in 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, then I give her more, so I can make less the next day. It's a good thing that on Sundays I only have to give her $5 because there's no traffic.
It's a short step away from living on the streets to becoming involved in criminal activities. 12-year-old Sandu explains how this happens.
The first time you steal, you're afraid, until you get used to it. After that, you enjoy stealing. You earn money. A man left his car to buy a newspaper and I got up and found a little bag with 500 euros in it. That's how I started.
Now he's living in a re-education center. At least he's off the streets.
Begging is closely related to petty crime. It's a first step. The first step towards crime because it's easy to shift from begging and depending on people's charity to spotting a wallet, an open car, or an unlocked door.
At the re-education center, Sandu is safe, well-fed, and looking forward to catching up with lessons.
Do you know what I would like to learn? How to read.
There are organized activities and a chance to socialize. Girls are particularly vulnerable to life on the streets. They can end up in prostitution. A day in the life of these Romanian youngsters starts late at night.
The risks that these people are exposed to are related to genital injuries that can go from simple wounds to severe tissue damage and infections, the most serious of which is HIV. These youngsters are used for prostitution. That implies multiple sexual contacts and hence increased risk.
In Ukraine too, the sex trade exploits young people. Change is on its way. This reality may be bleak, but improvements have been made. With enough time, effort, and the will to succeed, these children can look forward to a brighter future. In Ukraine, for example, the ILO has worked with local authorities and NGOs, and in the last 2 years they have withdrawn more than 1,000 children from the worst forms of child labor. Alina started to work at the age of 8.
For me, work started at 5 in the morning and lasted until 9 in the evening. You get up and work. When I was 11, I went to first grade, and I wanted to go to school, but my mother was against it.
With the help of a group named Successful Woman, Alina, now 18 and with a child, has been undergoing rehabilitation for a year. In the Kyiv region, the ILO project has helped rescue 50 teenagers, mostly girls, who were being exploited in the sex trade.
Одним із позитивних результатів стало те, що в рамках
One of the positive results was that within the framework of this program, they learned how to build their relations with relatives, friends, environment, family, and persons of the opposite sex.
та особами протилежної статі. Але нашим завданням є надати ті навички.
Our task is to provide a child with such skills that when encountering problems in the future, the child can solve them independently.
Проблемами. Вона вже пробувала вирішувати їх самостійно.
In Romania, the key has been to tackle child labor on a national level using international resources.
We began in earnest in the year 2000, at the same time as the launch of the International Program for the Elimination of Child Labor by the International Labour Organization. Romania signed a memorandum with the ILO for the implementation of the program in the country. And this has been put into action through the establishment in Romania of the National Directorate Committee for the Combat and Elimination of Child Labor.
În România, a Comitetului Național Director pentru combaterea și eliminarea exploatării prin muncă.
In Moldova, school children were asked to write an essay entitled My Solution for the Elimination of Child Labor.
Acces oamenilor pentru care contează viitorul nostru și de asemenea pentru cei care exploatează munca copiilor, ne dându-și seama că noi, copiii, suntem viitorul acestei țări. A exploata un copil înseamnă a nimici o floare ce încearcă să-și deschidă petalele la răsăritul soarelui, sau a risipi un vis ce abia își caută menirea și își capătă culoarea, sau a răni aripa păsării în zbor. Numai unindu-ne forțele vom reuși să împiedicăm exploatarea muncii copiilor, vom reuși să le creăm un prezent cât mai decent și să-i ajutăm să privească în viitor cu gânduri optimiste.
Alright, well that was the video. Minho, Bronson, wake up. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Okay, good. Well, as you can see, that video really showed how hard these kids have it and that they need some help, really. That this can't go on much longer, and in the 21st century, this really shouldn't be happening. And let's put a stop to this. Thank you.
Here,